Hello, everybody. This is Andrew Eubanks with Ancient Minds Tutoring. I was just going to share a quick Greek myth with you. I know it is the beginning of May, and as we are moving from spring into summer, and of course, fall will be here before we know it, I thought it'd be a good time to share the way in which the ancient Greeks understood the changing of the seasons to take place. So, of course, this story centers around Demeter, who is the goddess of the harvest, Persephone, which is her daughter, and then Hades, who is the god of the underworld. Now, Persephone was this very beautiful young girl who loved to be outside, loved flowers, loved spring. And so she is outside one day picking flowers when she spots this really, really beautiful flower. She's like, oh my gosh, my mom would love that flower. So what does she do? She rushes over to grab it, to take it home. When all of a sudden she notices it's very, very difficult to pull up. And she's trying and she's trying and she's trying to pull it up when all of a sudden she finally yanks it up. But then a huge hole opens up where that flower was, and she falls through that hole into the underworld. Now, unbeknownst to Persephone, of course, Hades has been watching her this whole time, because Hades, if we know anything about the ancient Greek uh, concept of Hades, and of course even the god Hades, it's a very lonely place. Hades isn't the place isn't necessarily bad. It's where the ancient Greeks believed they would go when they died. But it's not very exciting either. It's a very sort of boring kind of place that you don't really want to be in. And likewise, Hades is also kind of stuck in this place because it's his realm, and so he is very bored. He has no one to really share anything with. So when he sees Persephone, he's like, "Oh my gosh, she's so wonderful. Um, I would love to be able to hang out with her, love to be able to talk to her." But he knows that there's really no way to convince someone to come with him and live with him. So he believes the only thing he can do is take someone. So he kidnaps Persephone. Now, of course, Demeter, once all of a sudden, it's beginning to get dark, really begins to wonder, where is her daughter? And so she begins scouring the hillside, scouring the countryside, even entering into the cities, just constantly looking and calling out for Persephone, but no one has seen her. No one knows where she is. So, of course, Demeter, being a goddess, eventually goes to Zeus and says, please, please, I need you to help me. My daughter is missing. I have no idea where she is. Zeus, of course, says, yes, I will help you. So he enlists Hermes. Now, Hermes is the messenger god, and Hermes is the one that travels to and far, taking the messages of Zeus to whomever Zeus desires. So, of course, Hermes sees and knows a lot of what is going on in the world. So Hermes immediately takes off and begins looking for Persephone. Meanwhile, Persephone is so upset and so grief-stricken that she does not allow winter to go into spring. It's this sort of like this really sort of fall, wintry sort of mix where the people on Earth can't really plant anything. There's no ability to till the soil. And so Zeus, recognizing this, is like, this is a very, very important issue that we have to deal with, because if we cannot get Demeter to look around and see what is going on the earth, like, the people will starve to death. So eventually Hermes gets wind of the idea that Hades has taken Persephone. Now, meanwhile, Persephone, stuck in the underworld, is very upset, right? Of course, she's been kidnapped. She is not happy. And to show her displeasure, she has gone on a hunger strike. She will not eat anything. She will not drink anything. And so even in the underworld, there is gardens and whatnot. And so she's strolling around the garden. She's starving, worried, wanting to go home, when, as she's going through one of these fields and gardens in the underworld, she sees people eating pomegranate. And a young boy offers her some pomegranate. Now, pomegranate just happens to be Persephone's favorite fruit. But she is trying her hardest to stay on this sort of hunger strike. So she sort of compromises within herself and says, you know what, I will not eat the whole fruit, but I will eat 6 seeds of the fruit to sort of try to sate her hunger. So eventually Zeus, Demeter, Hermes all meet with Hades in the underworld to try to broker a deal to get Persephone back with her mother. Now, as they are sort of coming to some sort of compromise to allow Persephone to go home with her mother, all of a sudden it comes out that Persephone has eaten seeds from the pomegranate. And there was this really sort of odd law in the ancient Greek world called the law of the abode, which states that if you've eaten or drinking anything in the underworld, you have to stay in the underworld. And so all of a sudden, Zeus is really concerned because he knows, like, we have to get Demeter to change winter into summer, into spring into summer, so that the people can begin to plant and grow crops so that they will not starve to death. So they are able to come to this solution that since Persephone ate 6 seeds of the pomegranate, she will spend 6 months on earth with her mother, Demeter, and the remaining 6 she will spend with Hades. So this is how the ancient Greeks explain the changing of the seasons. For 6 months, right, she is on the earth with Demeter, and that as she's going from the underworld to earth to spend with her mother, Demeter is going from spring into summer, and then once Persephone is leaving Demeter, going back to spend time with Hades in the underworld, that is when Demeter changes from summer to fall into winter. So this is the way in which the ancient Greeks explain the changing of the seasons. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that story. I'll be sharing more with you in the days and weeks to come, and I look forward to talking with you all soon. Thanks.